everyone, this is Jackie Williams, and in this video I want to share with you a simple card using the Dainty Delight bundle and then show you how to step it up. And let's see which one you like best. So this is the Dainty Delight bundle. It's a beautiful set of wildflower images, and then I know it's really tiny in this photo, but it's kind of some vine and some daisy and other floral dies. So this is the simple version of the card, or the first version of the card that I came up with. And this is using these two dies out of the set. And one of the fun things about this project is, although the paper has shading on it and looks watercolored, I actually cut those flowers and the stems out of the Irresistible Blooms Designer Series paper. So you see that you've got that watercolor look and the shading right there in the paper. So it's really quite quick and easy to cut out those images and have that sort of effect. So let's together do a more stepped up version of that beautiful design. So I've got my same thick white card base, and then I have a layer of Pool Party, and I have used the Pretty Flowers embossing folder, this one here, which is really quite beautiful. I'm going to put it on a little bit of an angle. Some people don't like that. If you don't, then of course you could just put it on straight. Now I'm going to set that aside. Next, let's do our stamped image on the front. Now I'm going to use the Oceanfront stamp set, and I'm going to use this one here, which I've made projects in the past and used it as water or sky, but here we're just going to use it as a simple background. So you'll want to use your stamp mat because these stamps are photopolymer. And I'm going to stamp that in Pool Party. Now you'll notice that there is color variation from one side to the next. The stamp is actually designed like that, so you haven't misstamped it or anything. That's just the way it is. And then I found it easiest to stamp the words next, and then we'll arrange our flowers around the words. So I've stamped the Celebrate You in Memento Black, and this word is right out of the Dainty Delight stamp set. Okay, then I think at this point I'll go ahead and put this onto my card front, and then we'll add our flowers. I'm just going to put that on flat with a bit of glue, and again, you could put that on a little bit of an angle. I'm going to put that on straight because I don't want my words on an angle. I personally think the layers that have the words on them should be straight. I've already cut the flowers and the stems and put them, just adhered them together for this sample. But for this one, instead of using the Irresistible Blooms papers, I've actually used the two-toned Flora papers. So they've got some nice color variations in here as well, that when they're cut out, you just see the different colors. You don't necessarily really see any sort of a print. Okay, then I'm just going to go ahead and adhere my flowers. And I've put a little pieces of dimensionals on the back of the bloom. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the stem. If you feel like that stem comes down too far, you could just snip that off a little. But I would suggest then you snip both so that one isn't kind of a rounded end and one is a sharp end, so that at least they're the same. Then next, I have just tied a bow with some linen thread, and we'll just put that where those flowers cross over. It's going to cover my words a little bit. You could move it if that doesn't work for you. I think it's pretty clear what it says regardless. And then we'll just put on some basic rhinestones to embellish. And there we go. So we've gone from this version with one layer and one flower to a version with two flowers and that Pool Party embossed layer underneath. And then I even have a third version where I have just added a few more details. I've added now 3 flowers And I've added another layer of white underneath here that's embossed with the new basics folder. I also added a little bit of the white craft ink onto that embossed piece. So the raised flowers are a little more white, and then the lower areas are a little darker in the pool party, the plain pool party. So which of those do you like best? I've also got this middle one here in a different colorway. I think they are all beautiful. This simple one here would be quite lovely as like a set of 6 cards packaged up together as a gift, and you could make each of the flowers a different color. Then I have actually another version using the same supplies. I've used that same pool party piece behind, but I have just cut that down basically in half and then cut this piece considerably smaller so that more of that embossed pool party paper shows. And then this card I have stepped up again for a more Avid version. I've added the white ink on the embossed panel again, but this time while the ink was still wet, I added on a little bit of clear embossing powder. So I have this little scrap left over. It's not going to cover like all the areas, but it would just be here and there. There would be some clear embossing, so a little bit of shine. So there's a little bit on the background here of this. And then it's just a minor detail, but I did use the basics embossing folder on that mat behind here, and then put the words up on a label. So which of those do you like better? It's quite fun to see how you can take, essentially the same supplies and just start rearranging them differently to create some quite different effects. Now I have a few other samples using the Dainty Delight that are unrelated to the template that we were playing with tonight. So this one is a fun crossover pop-up card using some of the other dies in that set, the beautiful vine dies and the daisies. And then this is a sample made by Leslie Scott for one of our team events using the stamps and then the dies to cut them out, and some beautiful layers on here. And then this one I actually shared in a previous video, so I'll put a link to this video up here in the corner. So this one I've taken those same stamps that that Leslie's used there, but this time white embossed them and then just did some very fast and quick watercoloring. And then my last sample is using the same colors that we're using tonight, but just using the stamps and just the dies to cut them out for a nice kind of fresh and simple card. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed that, and this gives you some inspiration and ideas how you can take one card that you like and either simplify it for a nice clean and simple look, or add some more details and layers for something a little bit more Avid. Thanks so much for joining me. This is Jackie Williams. Please leave me a comment, share this video with your friends, and of course subscribe, and I'll see you next video. Bye-bye. Step it up for some other versions and more But for this one, instead of using the Irresistible Blooms papers, I've actually used the two-tone Flora papers.